Thank you for joining us. We're from Syndicate 1 and today we'd like to discuss about scenario planning for PT Adira Dinamika Multifinance, or more commonly known as Adira Finance. Our syndicate members are Azhari, Erwin, Hari, Satria, Yan, and myself, Amalia. Here's an overview about what we're going to discuss today. And first, let's discuss about company background. So, Adira Finance was established in 1990 with core business in automotive financing. It is currently among the top 5 financing companies with asset above 10 trillion rupiah. Some of the other companies within the same asset level are BFI Finance, FEF, and ACC or Astra Credit companies. Both are part of Astra Group. And another one is Indomobil Finance Indonesia. Since it is not part of certain automotive brand or automotive group, Adira Finance is financing multi-brand products. Other than automotive financing, currently Adira Finance also provides service financing such as for education, health, home renovation, as well as travel purposes. Other than that, it is also financing durable goods, including electronic and furniture. It has 440 branches across Indonesia and as of December 2021, serving around 1.9 million customers. In terms of financial numbers, based on 2021 annual report, it has total asset of 23.7 trillion rupiah, total income of 8.7 trillion rupiah, total new financing of 25.9 trillion rupiah, and total managed receivable of 40.4 trillion rupiah. Today, threats for conventional financing companies like Adira Finance not just come from other competitors and banks, it also comes from the rapid growth of fintech companies, especially fintech lending companies. A little background on fintech companies in Indonesia. Fintech business has gained popularity, especially in recent years, along with the growing number of Gen Z who are digital natives, value simplicity, seamless process, and on top of that, they are more knowledgeable customers. As of September 2021, there are 785 fintech companies, with around 23% of them are in financing business, posing quite significant threat for the conventional financing companies such as Adira Finance. In 2021 alone, there were total investment of around 13 trillion rupiah for the fintech industry in Indonesia, or around 23% of total fintech investment in Southeast Asia. As of December 2021, fintech lending has reached 13 million customers and total loan of 13.6 trillion rupiah. Some of the top fintech lending companies are Investri, Amarta, Akulaku, Kredivo, and Modalku.
On the second part, I'd like to talk about the orientation, which includes the key focal issues that talks about the scope and the time frames. And the second part is about the business process diagram. So basically, with these Adira Finance, the key focal issues that we think become the highlight is how will rapidly evolving fintech affect Adira Finance business and its customer in Indonesia over the next 5 years. So we highlight about the user, which is the Adira Finance itself, and then the scope is in Indonesia, and then the time frame is over the next 5 years. The second part is about the business process diagram. So it's all started with the customers that usually goes into 3 kinds of parts. The first one, customer could go into the partner dealers and merchants. The second part, customer could go with the agents, and the third part, they could go with the digital channels. So the first one and the second one, which is the partner dealers and merchants and then agents, usually will go and then will be follow up with the sales officers. So what the sales officers is doing is that they require the document to be submitted from the customers. However, apart from that, if the customer choose to go with the digital channels, it will go directly into the credit processing, which it doesn't involve any sales officers to be involved. So all of these 3 parts will go into credit processing, and then it will go into the analysis and then the approval part. So all of this will be managed by regional part, and then after it has gone into the analysis and the approval steps, it will go to the onboarding, and then after that it will go into different chapters. The first one is the account management, and then it will go into the collateral management. Otherwise, it will go directly into the customer relation management that will go back into the customers. So basically, this is how Adira Finance manages the installment payment and the overall business process diagram.
Exploration. In this step, we pinpoint the driving forces and critical uncertainties affecting the user. Driving forces are factors and trends that are projected to have a significant impact on the key focal issue. They are divided into three areas. First, the user or the organization itself, and then the transaction environment, and the last one is contextual environment. In the scenario planning for Adira Finance, the driving forces in user or organizational area are employee capability, company culture, technology readiness, and management support. These areas are influenced by the driving forces in the transaction environment, which are customers' purchasing power, lifestyle choices, financial behavior, funding sources, and lending rate. For contextual environment, we analyze the area of politics, economy, social, and technology. So we identify that the driving forces in the contextual environment are demographic change, political landscape, regulation on vehicle, financial regulation, population data integration, IT and digital transformation, financial inclusion, and financial crisis. After that, we plot each driving force on a graph, with the impact on user business performance plotted on the x-axis and the outcomes degree of uncertainty on the y-axis. Factors with a high likelihood of having a significant impact and uncertain results on the key focal issue are known as critical uncertainties. The top two most impactful and uncertain factors, namely the IT and digital transformation and financial behavior, are shown on the graph as the critical uncertainties.
Scenario creation. In the scenario framework, there are IT development and the financial behavior as two major and the critical uncertainties. When the scenario is IT development becomes stagnant and the financial behavior is aggressive, we call it donkey. This condition happens when the customer spending is aggressive but limited technology development. And bottom left, we call it snail when the customers retain spending based on basic needs without requiring external financing, and no rapid technology advancement is available. This condition is happen when the IT development still stagnant and also the financial behavior is conservative. For the bottom right, we call it monkey. The customer tend to spend carefully. However, the technology development towards digitalization is rapid. This condition when the financial behavior is still conservative, but the IT development is disruptive. And the upper right, the customer behavior, technological development is moving in a disruptive pace and the customers are spending aggressively. This condition is when the IT development is disruptive and the financial behavior is aggressive. And next, the scenario narratives. For the donkey scenario, the experience life to the fullest, the supported with the steady growth of economy and the lifestyle trend seems to emerge every other day. This new market is eager to soak up anything new and exciting with opportunity for innovation and financial sector is needed. However, the new invention in finance has been sluggish. It will be the perfect time for the government to apply incentives for the sector to boost new development and keep the wheel turning. And the next for the snail scenario, the article will be this year marked the finance highest level of the deposit recorded by the banks. The ongoing conservative economy forecast has affected customers' behavior to be very conservative as they tend to save it for the rainy day rather than spending on lifestyle and let alone taking up new loans. The effect on financing industry is significant with slow economy, invention on new technology has almost come to on a halt. And for the cheetah, 5 years after government deregulated policies for financing and fintech industry and aggressively incentivized innovation, the number of players in the industry has reached its historic high. Good news for the customers as it means more option available, faster process at a lower price. Coupled with strong economy, it has promoted consumption rate, benefiting our economic growth in general. And for monkey scenario, the article would be what will the future for the fintech companies after it reaches its peak when it was deemed as the future of financing industry and received massive support incentive wise as well as lenient regulation resulting in rapid IT development and record number of new fintech. So then it faced tough challenges as it hit by fraud cases, security issues, and the borderline illegal operation conduct. As control of regulators remain unclear, customers have lost their trust on the industry, and if not being careful, it might going to affect financing industry altogether.
Thank you, Mas Hari. Now we go to the option consideration. Okay, we start from the snail. While the IT development is stagnant and the behavior of spending consumer is still in conservative mode. So the implication will be stagnant growth of a number of customers and still abundance of physical branches and sales activity like in conventional way. So the option are first, we need to have a heavy marketing investment to create the demand. And then the second one, we need to focus in the credit segment. For instance, we focus in car or motorcycle, something that quite major or staple for the community. And the third one, we need to create one-stop store for Adira. Yes, still brick and mortar, but we need to make the service easy. And then the second one, we go to the donkey. Even though the IT development is stagnant, but the behavior of consumers becoming aggressive. So what will be the implication? At this stage, individual investment is growing. This is a personal or individual, not yet a company, but still using the old school approach due to technology that is developed stagnantly. And then the third one, portfolio diversifications already happen. What is the option that Adira can take? First, we need to tap into a new category in credit or leasing. For instance, we go to more electronic, home appliance, or other needs larger for the consumer. And then the second one, we need to invest a new, simpler, and seamless UI or UX for easier application. And the third one, we need to do a back-end automation and improve the system. Okay, next we go to the condition while the IT development and financial disruptive, the financial behavior is still conservative, that we name it monkey. The implication is fintech companies blossom in the market. So many new fintech companies established. And then the second one is of access to loan due to high penetration of financial digitalization. And the last one, number of customers is not growing highly due to trust issue with fintech, data safety, and conventional spending behavior. So, what will be the option for Adira in this stage? First is we enter a super app race. We need to prepare a super app race. We can collaborate or tie in with the purchase or other apps or other provider or other principal that produce goods. And then the second one, launch new non-collateral product. And then this is related also with the third point, to create promo to excite market, like for instance 0% for 3 months, or you giving a cashback. Why we need to do this? Because we need to create the excitement for consumer to start spending and making loan. And then the last one, since in this condition there is a trust issues, yes, of course we need to anticipate to answer this by establishment of anti-fraud system. Okay, we go to the last side, which is a cheetah, while the IT development is disruptive and the consumer behavior is also aggressive. We can say this is a very ideal condition. This is a bullish and growing market as well. What is the implication? First, high penetration of advanced fintech to all consumer market. So the fintech companies serve from the top tier of the consumers to the bottom tiers of the consumers. And then the second one, there is a high loan application. And then the last one, number of customers is growing rapidly. Along with IT, the development is also growing rapidly. What will be like in this stage? First, we need to accelerate the growth of the company. We can accelerate the growth of company through organic growth, through our internal, or we have option also to acquisition of the other fintech, which already has a big database or previous database. And during this fierce competition, perhaps one fintech not perform well, then we can acquire the existing database as well. And then the second one, since the competition is fierce, so we need to ensure that our IT development is also competitive enough in the market. So we need to strengthen the back end and front end simultaneously to answer the rapid growth of the consumer needs and numbers.
Integration. We know that a successful scenario planning exercise is not a one-time event. Instead, we need to explain it into our senior management to take decision on the different ways. The team identify early warning signal that could point and possible future direction and the likely emergence of one scenario rather than others. The signal can be described. Number one, on the snail quadrant, we got the early warning signals such as when the economic is not so good, the interest rate is going down, small fintech company is bankrupt or shut it down, and the third is the currency weakening. The next one is when the economic or the financial behavior become aggressive, we jump into the donkey quadrant. In this quadrant, we have the early warning signals such as the increased number of customers using payday loan. The second one is there are strict regulation and limited permit for fintech company that would make a limitation for the new investor to jump into the market. The third one, if we can jump into the monkey quadrant, we got the early warning signal. On this quadrant, we know that the financial behavior still conservative, but in the other hand, technology is on the disruptive pace. We got the personal data breach. There are high fraud cases by fintech companies. The next one is the intense competition from fintech, but number of active user and transaction are low. Number 4 is high-tech development is not followed by proper financial literacy. On this quadrant, we can see that this one is like what the Indonesia customer face nowadays. The last one, which is the good one, it is on the cheetah quadrant. We got the early warning signal when the IT development is so massive and the financial behavior is so aggressive. We got the early warning signals such as the interest rate going up, which is good. The second one is the many investor, many player, and many competitor will invest in fintech sector. The third one is the economic growth. It's so good. We can see from the GDP growth increase significantly, and the permission or the permission from the OJK or regulator can be achieved easily. This is the last part for our syndicate. Thank you for all.